here today to speak about a recent federal case that just came down and finished on Friday, and that is Zemora versus City of Houston. In that case, it was alleged that Houston's IAD department was basically used as a mechanism to quiet their officers down if they were to bring speech of things that the city did not like, such as discrimination. And we have seen many examples where the Houston IAD department is being used as a mechanism to punish punish police officers. I represent citizens who have been injured by police, but I also represent police officers when the city tries to discipline them as well, and I've done it on many occasions, so I work on both sides of the fence. Now, I would encourage the city council and the mayor to look into this case, because when you look at all the facts that are in the case, you will see that there are problems in the HPD IAD which need to be changed and addressed. The jury found that $150,000 was the damages that Chris Zemora, an HPD officer, was due. Chris Zemora, by the way, was Officer of the Year and also got an award from the 100 Club. So we're talking about a good officer. Now, this case did bring up also claims of discrimination against Hispanic officers in promotions. And with all the crime we have, we don't want the best brown or white or black officer. We want the best officer in a position. So we need to look closely at this case where two, not one, but two federal juries decided that the Houston IAD department was not right when they disciplined Officer Zemora and damaged him to the tune of $150,000. And I know oftentimes when cases are ongoing, y'all just throw up your hand and say, oh, it's legal. Can't see it. Can't look at it. That's not true. The mayor, the city council, you run the city, not lawyers. So I'm hoping that you all would look closely into this case and see if there doesn't need to be some changes made in the way that the Houston Police Department Internal Affairs Division goes about its business. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Davidson.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for coming forward. And I was the chairman of the Civil Service Commission many years ago, and I know how difficult those cases are. But, you know, I know that everyone sitting at this table wants justice just like you do, and I believe like a majority of the command staff at HPD. We hear your complaints, or you're pointing out the problems, but I mean, you say you're a practitioner in this area, and I know you're a lawyer, of course. If you could make some specific changes, that's what we have to do. I mean, it's not, I mean, if all of us at the table were going to read the transcripts or the proceedings, you know, we might or might not come up with an idea, but if you could do something more than say we have a problem, but make a suggestion for the curing of the problem, it would be beneficial, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Councilman Pennington. And I would like to point out that at the very least, when you look into this case, and I'm not going to name any names, you might find some wrongdoing by some people in the IAD department. And so if you can identify individuals who are engaged in wrongdoing, then at the very least, those people could be reassigned. Now, regarding systemic changes, of course, there are also policies and practices which would be put into place, especially if just by coincidence, at about the time that an officer was complaining out loud about certain activities, if in fact he then received a disciplinary action. As a matter of fact, the state of Texas became one of 28 states just a couple of years ago in creating this law called an anti-slap suit law, that when lawsuits are brought against people for speaking, there's this quick method to determine whether or not it is a anti-speech lawsuit to get rid of the case rather than having the person go through all this litigation and so forth. So that is possible here with the city of Houston, and I would hope that y'all would just look closely at this case and see if some changes in policy and maybe a few in personnel could be made.
Chair recognizes Vice Mayor Pro Tem Bradford.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Kelly, I can assure you that each time one of these cases are rendered, a decision is rendered, that it is reviewed. And in some instances, it's simply a matter of, with thousands of police officers, dealing with thousands of complaints. Most instances, the process works, and sometimes it breaks down. But it warrants a review of the process to determine, did somebody do something wrong? Is there a policy or procedure that needs to be modified? You go through that process, and then you